All right. I am here for a divine masculine and divine feminine reading today. It's actually going to be a little bit of both of you guys, a little bit of your shared energy. Let's find out what's going on with the two of you right now, like where you guys are currently at in your transitional or transformational process that you guys are both going through. So the truth is, divine feminine, and I think a lot of people don't talk about this, but your divine masculine does go through an awakening just like you do. Of course they do. There are divine masculines all over the world who are waking up just like divine feminines. The thing is it's not going to look the same for them as it does for you. It's going to look different. Why? Because they're divine masculine. So how they project things out into the world, how they experience things, how they interpret things is going to be based more upon the natural attributes of the masculine energy. You, divine feminine, are experiencing them on the divine feminine, like in the way that the divine feminine should. So you are the receptive polarity, right? This is the truth. Divine feminine always represents receptive energy, okay? Which is why you are going through the awakening in such a profound way. You are connecting to source. You are having downloads, spiritual experiences. You're going within. You're learning how to tap into your divine, like creative powers. You're learning how everything works. The divine masculine is the positive polarity. That's the way that it always is. They are externalized, and how they experience this awakening is going to be more on an externalized level, right? They're going to experience it in a more worldly way, where you are going to experience it in more of a spiritual or like an inner transformational process. So that is what we're going to look at today. What is going on? What is the difference between? Oh, well, there's our first card. The difference between you, divine feminine, and your experience of what's happening right now, and the experience of your divine masculine. Oh, that's not supposed to be in there. Just shuffle this a little bit more. You're, in my opinion, the lucky one. Even though you have to go through the dark night of the soul with the intensity that you do, you're the lucky one because you wake up to like this higher, more elevated, truth. You start to discover things. Source is directly communicating with you through these spiritual experiences. Now, it's the subconscious in this world that has like that creative power. It's what creates the experience that we have in this world. The conscious is like what's witnessing and interpreting the world. Consciousness is different than conscious and subconscious, okay? We're not talking about consciousness. Consciousness is the soul, and consciousness is, within all of us. It's what's witnessing, this creation that we're all a part of. But you are the subconscious. The divine masculine is the conscious. Okay, that's just the way that the energy works. It's another definition. Everything kind of falls into one or the other categories, and so your divine masculine is going to experience these things. That's why sometimes you hear them like referred to as like the matrix twin. And another interesting thing that you will probably make a lot of sense to you, but that doesn't to a lot of other people, is that you and your divine masculine are polarized because If you take two norths of a magnet or two souths of a magnet, they repel each other. And divine masculine is naturally, by the very nature of masculine energy, more of the push energy. So if you take two push, like two magnets that are both north facing, they're going to push each other, right? They push each other away. They can't come together. And so if you were to take one magnet like this, right? I'm going to give you an example. People get confused and they say, oh, the divine feminine is the push energy and the divine masculine is the pull energy. But in actuality, I think what's really happening, that's not like a bad explanation, but I think to take it a level deeper, is you have two norths, they're going to repel each other. But if you let go of one and you do this, that other magnet is just by itself going to naturally move away. It's going to appear as if it's running from you, but in actuality, it's being pushed away. Why is that? Because you're actually the pull energy, which is why when you embrace your feminine, and this isn't about gender, okay? Not about gender. You could be male or female. Because male and female is just another representation of masculine, feminine energy, but on a physical level. We're talking about something deeper than that. We're talking about on the metaphysical level. So you are the pull energy, but if you are in your push, you're masculine, because we carry both energies, right? Then you're going to repel each other. Or if you're both in your divine feminine, you're going to repel each other, right? So what it is balancing out and neutralizing the energy within yourself. When you do that, then you become the dominant polarity that you're meant to be, and you and your divine masculine attract each other like magnets, okay? That is another way to understand this connection. To me, it just makes more sense, because in spirituality, the divine feminine is always the negative polarity and divine masculine is always the positive. It is not going to deviate and change for anything. It follows the same patterns always. You can't have, by the very nature of calling something divine masculine, have it be the negative polarity. It just doesn't work like that. It's never, ever, ever, ever in natural law the negative polarity. It's always the divine feminine that is. Which is why you're always being told, and this does work, to stop pushing and to go within. That's receptive energy. And that's when your divine masculine comes back. Why? Because then the polarization collapses and you become like magnets that attract each other. You are the receptive polarity, divine feminine. Okay, I want to just give you guys some clarity on it, because I think there's some miscommunication and some misinformation out there. So let's get into this. Divine feminine, we're going to go through yours first, then we'll get into your divine masculine. So over here, divine feminine, your feelings right now toward the relationship with your divine masculine. We have 6 of Swords in reverse. So with 6 of Swords energy in reverse, you are feeling like stagnant. You're feeling like you're having a very difficult time moving on from your divine masculine. And I'm going to talk just a bit about that, okay? You are having some trust issues. You're feeling like you can't stop thinking about them. You can't seem to move away from this whole experience. Even if you wanted to, you can't move forward. You feel stagnant. You feel stuck in this paradigm. And the thing is the reason that you're feeling stuck is because you're thinking that the two of you, through the thinking mind, part of the egoic structure that's being disassembled in your life through this transformational process, you're thinking that you and your divine masculine are separate. Separation is different. It's not what you think it is. When you think of separation, it's because, this physical thing is separate from this physical thing. But in oneness or unity consciousness, especially in the twin flame dynamic, you are already one. You can't be separate, right? No matter where your divine masculine is in the world, or no matter what's going on, even in the universe, you can't be separate from your divine masculine. That's just a physical illusion. At the source, the core, the energy of both of you, you guys are already one. And so moving on, you don't actually have to move on from your divine masculine. It's more of an inner shift that takes place where you realize you're already one. You always have been and you always will be. There's no place you need to get to with your divine masculine. It's more of an acceptance of what is. And once you do that, that's when that polarity collapses. You go within and you recognize you're already one at the center, at the core. Now, this is not a transformational process that happens overnight. It is something that does take time, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. It is happening for you. Source is guiding you through that. Pay attention to your intuition. Hone in on that through presence, meditation, prayer. Take time for yourself right now, Divine Feminine. It's going to lead you where you want to go. Four of Pentacles in reverse is more of like the kinds of thoughts that you're having right now toward your divine masculine. What are some of the like thought processes that are going through your mind? What are you thinking about with them? And so for this, with the Four of Pentacles, it's very much a lack mindset, feeling extraordinarily vulnerable. Now, again, these are illusions of the ego. Lack mentality is based in egoic fear. 100%. Always it is. The core, the truth, the heart of what you are is love. That's where you and your divine masculine are already centered and one. And it's the mind that creates the illusion of separation. It's the five senses, the veil, right? Our lack of understanding of the spiritual realm that makes us feel that way. And so there's definitely a lot of thoughts of like, well, what if I never get back together with them? Or what if I never see them again? Or what if they'll never be able to forgive me? Or what if I can't ascend properly? Am I going to be able to help them? And, there's a lot of that kind of stuff going on. I'm not good enough for them. They're never going to care about me. Or, I'm never going to be the right kind of person. I'm always going to fail. That's all types of lack mentality kinds of thinking. So you have a lot of that is still surfacing for you. And that's okay. The reason why is the universe is bringing you experiences in order to show you these shadows. These are shadow aspects of self. And through presence, awareness, prayer, meditation, you're going to see these things for what they truly are, and then you're going to transcend them, overcome them. You'll bring those shadows into the light of your awareness. And what happens when we bring a shadow into the light? It dissipates. It disappears. So your fears, Divine Feminine. What are the fears that you're facing? What are some of the fears that this lack mentality is actually bringing to you right now? It probably comes from past traumas and stuff, but it's Four of Cups in reverse. You got a lot of reversals here. Four of Cups in reverse. You're actually afraid of change. You are afraid of change. You sort of it's like this weird sort of duality because you really actually want change because you're not satisfied with the current situation. Yet at the same time, the events and the things that would need to take place in order for the change to actually happen, those are the things that terrify you. So even though you don't like your current reality, you're clinging on to it because you're afraid of the unknown, or you're afraid of the steps that it would take to get to the unknown. And the unknown is that intuition. It's where source and God is guiding you. And so you got to kind of step off the cliff, step off the ledge and just allow yourself to go out into this unknown territory away from what the ego is trying to tell you is safe. All right. So your desires, Divine Feminine, we have 10 of Swords. For your desires, you want to end the feeling of anxiety and fear and lack mentality. That is your desires. You don't want to be in that place anymore. You really wish that you could just hit a fast forward button. Like that, there's a movie, I can't remember what it was called. It might have even been called Fast Forward, but she had some magical fast forward button, or he did. I can't remember. I don't know. It's been a while. It was a girl or a guy. But they would fast forward through events in their life that they didn't want to deal with, things that they either thought were boring or scary or not like fun to deal with. You kind of wish you had like a fast forward button so that you could get through the difficult and painful stuff that creates the transition that you need in order to get into the reality that you would like. Sometimes the reality that we are in, even though it's not what we want, it's like the comfortable we know, right? Like we're comfortable because we know it. We may not like it, but we know it. And so we resist change, even though secretly, underneath it all, subconsciously, we absolutely desire it. And that's kind of what I see right here with you in your energy right now is there's a strong desire to let all of this go. If anything, you're sort of a little bit frustrated with your ego right now. Like you just want to, you're like, it's like a little battle between soul and ego. You've really started to wake up to the truth of who you are, and you just want the old patterns to just stop surfacing for you. Now, what is your divine masculine's feelings right now toward the current relationship with you, divine feminine? We have 7 of Wands in reverse. So your divine masculine's feelings toward you is that they feel like either you or them have had very weak boundaries. I'm really getting a strong kind of feeling that they think that you've had weak boundaries. And they want you to have stronger boundaries. Maybe they feel that you have a little tiny bit of a doormat kind of like maybe your empathy is being misinterpreted as being a doormat. When in actuality you're not. You're extraordinarily strong. And you have a huge amount of love in your heart, which is why you're willing to sacrifice. But I think what your divine masculine wants to see from you is like no, I'm not going to put up with that, or I respect myself more. Even if this is on a subconscious level for them, that's what they want for you because they actually really care about you. So they want you to care more about yourself to create balance and harmony. They don't want to feel, I think, an obligation to please you in order to make you feel like you're valuable. They want you to know your value already. And when you do, you show up differently. And your divine masculine is picking up on that. They really want you to step into your power. That's the feeling that they have toward you right now. Yeah. They feel like they can't really move forward with you until you've kind of reached that on your own, I guess, maybe kind of realized on your own what your value and your worth is, and that's going to take time. I think the reason why this is something that is strongly coming through in your divine masculine is I think that it's triggering for them to see you like that because they actually recognize a lot of that energy within themselves. And so it's actually forcing them to also have to look at their own boundaries. Boundaries are twofold. It's boundaries for others and boundaries for ourselves. So we have to have boundaries for how others treat us and how we allow others to treat us. But we also have to have boundaries for ourselves. Like, how do we allow ourselves to be treated? Like we have to say no to ourselves sometimes. Yeah, we really want someone in our life, even our twin flame. But if they're not showing up and treating us, in alignment with the love that we are, then we have no other choice but to say no, not right now. And so that's triggering for your divine masculine because they have to look at that in themselves too and really question their own boundaries. Are they really living up to the expectations that they have for you themselves? So what are their thoughts? What kinds of thoughts are they dealing with right now? They have 5 of Swords. So there has been, they've got a voice in their head that is difficult to contend with. it's a strong ego, based in fear and lack mentality, very similar to yours. But the voice in their head is very abusive toward them. You're just not good enough. No one's ever going to love you. You can't get close to anyone because they're just going to hurt you. You've been hurt before in the past, and it's probably because you're an idiot. Like, it literally talks to them like you would expect like some abusive partner to talk to you, you know? It's very, very insidious. They don't tell everybody about it either. It's like something that they just kind of hold inside. They put on a mask and try to like hide the fact that they're going through these difficulties. This process is helping them to see this for what it actually is. That voice is getting loud in their head and hard to ignore, which is the divine's way of bringing this shadow out for divine masculine to look at it and overcome it. And these things are all directly connected. You guys are the one at the core, which is what we're going to get into in a minute here. But your energies are intertwined. How it shows up in the 3D world for them versus how it shows up for you is different. But the core wounds, the core stuff is the same between the two of you. So what is divine masculine's fears? What are the things that kind of give power to this egoic mind over here? And for that, we have 3 of Wands. They don't feel like they have direction. They don't feel like they have what it takes to succeed or accomplish anything. They have a very high standard of what they think they should live up to. And it all comes from that voice in their head telling them that they're not good enough, smart enough, cool enough, or handsome enough, or pretty enough, or, intelligent enough. They don't have the abilities that and it's not true, but it came from somewhere. Maybe they had an abusive parent, or both of their parents were abusive. Maybe they've experienced an extraordinarily abusive relationship in the past, and they're still carrying the trauma and the turmoil of that. Sometimes when we leave those kinds of abusive people behind, they still torment us through this egoic mind that just kicks in and takes over and finishes the job. And so your divine masculine has a lot of fear about whether or not they're going to ever be worthy of having a fulfilling relationship and having a fulfilling life. They don't have a lot of confidence in themselves. What are their desires? Their desires are actually quite similar in some ways to the desires that you have. They want to let go of the scattered energy. They want to feel resourceful and powerful and fulfilled. They don't want to be, this represents lack energy, and this is what they don't want anymore. They want fulfillment. They actually want this in the upright, right? And right now they're not quite there, and they're aware of this. They know that, which is like the snake eating its tail. It's just feeding a lot of this ugly energy over here that doesn't belong to your divine masculine. It needs to come out. It needs to get purged out of them. And they're also, just like you, wanting this process to take place because they feel like they're on the precipice of something, as do you. But letting go of fear is what is necessary. All right, so the outcome together, divine feminine. Let's take a look at what the outcome together is. Your shared energy. Right now, you are both in a shared energy. Now, this is right now, okay? So you guys are still dealing with some stuff. There are still shadows coming out. You're still like in the cocoon, so to speak. You guys were the caterpillars. You met, you got into the cocoon. You're going through a transformational process. In the end, you guys are going to emerge as the beautiful butterfly. And, that is just a metaphorical explanation of this process, from that is ignited with you and your twin flame. But right now, you guys are both currently still struggling with quite a few things in your shared energy. We have Page of Wands in the reverse, which is struggling, being bored. There's still some immaturity. And I think this is spiritual immaturity, which is why you maybe both of you are quite mature in some ways in your day-to-day 3D lives and how you go about doing things. But on a spiritual level, you guys are still learning and growing. Like, this is new stuff for you guys, and that's okay. It is for all of us that are going through this process. We're all kind of like little babies going through this process, this, transformation that is leading us to spiritual wisdom and maturity. And then you also have the World in reverse, which is, feeling like things are not quite finished. There's some lessons that need to be learned. There's certain delays or problems, that's okay. This isn't a negative thing. Okay. I want you to know that negative things in and of themselves, you could say, are negative. Oh, this was a negative experience, or this was a bad experience, or this was a bad thing that happened. But in the overall big picture, when you start understanding the big picture and like you get more into the unity consciousness, you see that both sides of the coin are valuable. Whether it falls heads up or tails up, it's still valuable. It's not one's not better than the other. And so negative things or positive things that happen in our lives both serve a very valuable purpose. And so this is just stuff that is being brought into your awareness so that you can let go of the gobbledygook, crappy gunk stuff that's holding the two of you back from the ultimate, the ultimate life, that both of you guys deserve. That kingdom is there for all of us. It's just that we're all in a process and a path to becoming in alignment with it. It's already there and it's waiting for us. It's just waiting for us to say yes and for us to become in alignment with that. And how that's going to happen, Divine Feminine, is you going within and recognizing that you already have everything it takes. It's just like so many of these movies that we see, like Dorothy at the end, where she's like, oh, there's no place like home. Home is where the heart is, right? You got Alice in Wonderland realizing that the, queen has no power over her. In the movie The Labyrinth, she realizes at the end, like, oh my gosh, you have no power over me. I only thought you had power over me, right? We're only bound by what we believe ourselves to be bound by. And this is a purging process that every single one of us has to go through, this initiation process into our kingdom. Okay, and that kingdom is there for you guys to create. So I'm going to do a quick oracle card for you guys, and then we will call it a day, and I will come back tomorrow with your Divine Feminine reading. All right. Oh, if you guys haven't already, we are so close to 1,000. Please like and subscribe. It would really, really mean a lot to us. Really help us out. We also have some specials that are going on right now. You can see those specials in the description box below. We have 40% off tarot readings and also 10% off of personal coaching sessions. So check those out if you're interested. Right now is a great time to purchase those things. We also have Ask a Question for like $10, and group calls are freaking phenomenal. I'll be putting something out later today or tomorrow, letting you guys know what the topics for next week will be. And yeah, so come check us out. You guys go to the-conduits.com. All right, we have gratitude today. Let's see what this has to say about gratitude for us. All right, where is it? Come on. Come on. There we go. All right. Gratitude. I manifest positive change and growth through gratitude. This is going to be a good card for you, Divine Feminine, because of the change that you've been fearful of. Our lives have become so busy that we take for granted aspects of ourselves, our relationships, and our material gains because we get so caught up in the need to strive for more. Thinking we don't have enough of the riches that support our lives, we neglect to truly see the abundance of the gains we already have. To be truly grateful is to appreciate all of life's offerings, regardless of whether it is what you need in your life right now. The ability to see beyond the hardships shows strength and understanding. Life cannot be just one big high because we're in duality, right? Both sides of the coin are valuable. It's how we achieve balance, nirvana. The 12-pointed star is a representation of a stellated dodecahedron, as it contains 12 faces. It can be perceived as a number of completion and wholeness. It is also a representation of the Genesis pattern, which in 2 dimensions is 12 spheres around a central sphere to create 13. Within the center of the star is the Genesis pattern, or the seed of life. We are blessed at conception to be a fractal of the bigger picture. We already inherit all that we need to go about our daily lives to bring fulfillment, happiness, and the like into our lives. For this, we need to acknowledge our blessings of being able to partake on earth in this time. Give thanks each day before you go to sleep and upon awakening. Give thanks to the people you meet and the relationships you develop. Be thankful for the food on the table and the love of those nearest and dearest. We are richer than we think. Card numerology is 6, and the crystal suggestions are rose quartz, jade, tangerine quartz, and citrine. I think this is awesome because when we are in a place of gratitude, everything falls into alignment because we are seeing that both sides of the coin are valuable. And we are taking the highest perspective, the highest lesson, and the highest energy from those situations, which is going to take us higher and higher in our vibration, which is ascension. It's raising your vibration, aligning with the kingdom. The universe gives us what we need to evolve before it can give us what we want. This is what we want. We're getting what we need to align with what we want. And this is your birthright, Divine Feminine. I love you guys. Thank you so much for being here. I hope you enjoyed today's reading, and I will see you tomorrow.